Yes, welcome back to Old Trafford as we keep building up to what feels like the game of the weekend between Manchester United and Arsenal. And who better to look ahead to it than our very own Gary Neville. Gary, lovely to see you. First of all, how are you?
I'm good, really good, and this is a great game to have on the day one of the season or the opening weekend. We had some good games already, but Manchester United and Arsenal is a cracker, and yeah, big questions over obviously at the start of the season over big clubs always. I think the interesting thing here today is, does Cesco start? How will he do this season? Gyökeres for Arsenal as well, watching him play, so really looking forward to it.
We'll get into all of that, I'm sure. I mean, let's start with Manchester United. How are you feeling about them going into this season? New look front three. You mentioned Cesco there, Mbeumo, Cunha, proven Premier League players. Do you think that's the firepower Amorim desperately needed?
Well, you've got to have hope at the start of every season, and Ruben Amorim really wanted to add firepower, and he's done that. I'm really surprised they've spent that level of money. I didn't think they had. I didn't think they could because of PSR, but I didn't think that they had that level of money to be able to invest into the squad. To get Cunha, Mbeumo and Cesco, I think is promising. They look like the right profile. Two of them have played in the Premier League before, so there's not a case of getting used to the league. Cesco obviously is the one that's got maybe a little bit more doubt about him because he's younger, and it's a real pressurised position at Old Trafford being a striker. But if the other two can score goals, it takes the pressure off him anyway, it can bed him in, so it doesn't necessarily mean that all three have to be absolutely amazing. I think if one or two of them can play really well, it means it could cover for the others. So I think for United, it's promising with those three. There are still question marks in midfield, and obviously with the goalkeepers make too many mistakes. And I think if four of that back three, if Shaw, Maguire, De Ligt and Euro, if they can stay fit, they've got three decent centre-backs there, I think, that can do a good job for them. So I think it's more promising, a lot more promising than it was obviously 2 months ago when they lost that game against Tottenham, where it felt like the world was ending a little bit for if you're a United fan.
I want to ask you about the midfield. You mentioned it there. If Cesco does start and it's that front three, looks like Bruno Fernandes might play a bit deeper. Who's his ideal partner? We know United have been linked with Carlos Baleba this summer, but do you still think that's an area they need strengthening?
Yeah, it absolutely needs a central midfield player to go alongside Bruno Fernandes. I would have hoped that Kobbie Mainoo would have emerged in this last 12 to 18 months to be a real star. It's not quite happened for him. That maybe still could happen, but it doesn't feel like it's happening at the moment. It doesn't look like the manager's totally having him either in that position alongside Bruno. Casemiro, we know, has been a world-class player, but his legs, they struggle to get about the pitch, particularly if you're playing against a great team, and this always feels quite big at Old Trafford. Ugarte just hasn't settled in at all, so you're talking about really an inadequacy in there, and then obviously, like I say, goalkeeper as well. They're the two big positions. If a perfect transfer window would be a top-class central midfield player that's got legs and that can basically sort of mop up in front of that back three, and a goalkeeper that can keep the ball out of the back of the net.
You touched on Cesco as well. I mean, you played with some fantastic strikers yourself. Ruben Amorim told us in his news conference on Friday, Cesco could be United's number 9 for years to come.
He has to be.
But I just wonder what attributes is he going to have to show to do that, because United haven't had a striker that's scored 20 goals since Robin van Persie.
He's going to have to handle everything that goes with playing at this football club, and there's been a lot of examples over the last 10 years where players have come with great reputations, great potential, it hasn't quite worked out for them. So composure, temperament, confidence, arrogance, to be able to step out here and stick your shoulders out and your chest and say, I am Manchester United's number 9. That takes a lot, you know what I mean? And what I would say is that if he gets off to a good start, it'll make all the difference. We saw Ekitike for Liverpool the other night scoring at Anfield, a young player. If Cesco can do that, I'm torn as to whether he'll play today. I want him to play. I'm desperate for him to play up front with Cunha and Mbeumo and say, right, those three, make it happen. Stick with them for the first 10 games of the season and let them play themselves into form where they can combine with each other. But I've just got a sneaky feeling he might go with Mason Mount. For a couple of reasons. One, to let Cesco obviously have a look at the game and see the sort of scale and magnitude of what he's coming into, but also to drop back into that three in midfield and basically drop onto Zubimendi. He's played in pre-season quite a bit, Mason Mount, so I've got half a feeling he might go with that.
A great match today for United and the start of the Premier League. We're all excited to see the team on the field with the new signings. There were 3 important arrivals for United, which I believe will give coach Ruben Amorim more options. In your opinion, fan, does United arrive this season to fight for titles? Leave your opinion in the comments. For me, they arrive much stronger than last season, and they do have a chance to fight for titles. Let's wait and see how the team fits together. As more news comes out, I'll bring it to you firsthand. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like Let's Go United